great deal to you because it's hard to win.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but if you think about beating the Celtics, that's always going to mean the most to me.
NBA legend Magic Johnson has never been one to hold back, and his recent appearance on Byron Scott's Fast Break podcast has the basketball world buzzing. The Lakers icon aimed for today's NBA stars, blasting load management, declining competitiveness, and the lackluster all-star game. But he also had high praise for Nuggets superstar Nikola Jokic, and of course couldn't resist reigniting his legendary rivalry with the Boston Celtics.
Basketball player. He's the best I've ever seen.
He was my driving force.
I just don't think there'll ever be another 6'9" point guard that smiles while he humiliates you.
Johnson's criticism of load management, the practice of star players sitting out games for rest, was particularly pointed. I love the NBA game, but then I turn on a game, right? And the stars are not playing because of load management. It's hurting the game, Johnson said. This issue strikes a nerve with the Hall of Famer, who recalled a conversation with Michael Jordan that reinforced his position on player availability. I was with Michael Jordan, not last summer, but the summer before last. We ran into each other in Europe, and he says, "Irvin, I don't know why these guys," Johnson shared, before highlighting how Jordan prided himself on his availability, playing all 82 games in 9 of his 15 seasons. The implication was clear. Today's stars simply don't match the commitment level of previous generations.
Where is it going? And that's number one. And number two, how do we get it back?
Even for me, I love the NBA game, but then I turn on to a game, right? And then the stars are not playing because of load management.
Mm-hmm.
It's hurting the game. And I was with Michael Jordan not last summer, summer before last. We ran into each other in Europe. And he says, Irvin,
Johnson's dedication to playing through pain was legendary. He revealed that Lakers head athletic trainer Gary Vitti had to physically prevent him from suiting up when injured. He wouldn't let me put my uniform on when I couldn't play in the game because he knew I would tear the damn jersey off and go in the game, Johnson admitted. This stands in stark contrast to the modern approach where players regularly sit out games despite being healthy enough to play. The decline of the NBA All-Star Game has also become a major disappointment for Johnson. His disillusionment reached such levels that he boycotted the entire All-Star Weekend this year, a shocking admission from someone who has been closely associated with the league for nearly 5 decades. This is the first time in history, now I've been associated with this league for 46 years or so, that I didn't watch the entire weekend. I didn't go, didn't watch, Johnson said.
This man has a smile that lights up a television screen from here to Bangor, Maine.
One of the greatest players of all time, Irvin Magic Johnson.
It's showtime.
He had a passion, an incredible passion to play basketball. He loved the game. He loved to entertain the crowd.
Magic's just a great basketball player. He's the best I've ever seen.
He was my driving force.
His expectations for an all-star effort aren't unreasonable either. You don't have to give 100%, but you got to give 80, you got to give 75, make it a game, and make it competitive. He insisted. Johnson also lamented that today's stars refuse to participate in the slam dunk contest, once a highlight of All-Star Weekend and a showcase for the game's most electrifying talents.
They've got to do something with this All-Star Weekend.
Oh, man, we talked about that.
This is the first time in history. Now, I've been associated with this league 46 years or so. I didn't watch the entire weekend.
Wow.
I didn't didn't watch, because if you're not going to give you don't have to give 100%, but you got to give 80. You got to give 75, make it a game, and make it competitive.
But wait, there is more. Despite his criticism of the current NBA culture, Johnson wasn't shy about acknowledging greatness where he sees it. When asked about the best player in today's game, he quickly pointed to Denver Nuggets center Nikola Jokic. Best player in basketball right now. He reads situations and defenses well. His basketball IQ is off the chart, Johnson praised. Coming from a player renowned for his basketball intelligence, this represents a significant recognition of Jokic's talents. The Lakers-Celtics rivalry that defined the 1980s NBA remains very much alive in Johnson's heart. His hatred for Boston burns just as intensely now as it did during his playing days. If you think about beating the Celtics, that's always going to mean the most to me. I hate them even today. I still hate them, Johnson admitted with characteristic candor. This deep-seated animosity highlights how the competitive fires still burn within him decades after his retirement. Johnson's Boston hatred was particularly inflamed when the Celtics captured their 18th championship in June 2024, officially surpassing the Lakers' 17 titles. "I hate that the Celtics officially have more championships than us now," Johnson tweeted on June 17, 2024, adding an eye-roll emoji that perfectly captured his disgust. The rivalry between Johnson and Larry Bird shaped an entire era of NBA basketball, with the two superstars facing off in the NBA Finals 3 times. Johnson's Lakers emerged victorious in 2 of those encounters, but the lessons learned in defeat proved just as valuable. "When we beat them in 85, it was the first time. 84 taught us a great lesson when we lost to them," Johnson reflected. "Anytime I can beat Larry Bird and beat up on him, I'm good." Johnson's candid commentary provides a fascinating window into how NBA legends view the evolution of the game. His career spanned 13 seasons, all with the Lakers, during which he averaged 19.5 points, 7.2 rebounds, 11.2 assists, and 1.9 steals while shooting 52.0% from the field. These remarkable statistics underline his authority to speak on what constitutes greatness in the NBA. Bird's numbers were equally impressive during his 13 seasons with Boston. The Indiana State product averaged 24.3 points, 10.0 rebounds, 6.3 assists, and 1.7 steals, while shooting 49.6% from the field and 37.6% from three-point range. Together, these two icons elevated the NBA to unprecedented heights of popularity in the 1980s. The Lakers' schedule for the remainder of the 2024 to 2025 season illustrates the grueling nature of the NBA calendar that Johnson believes players should embrace rather than avoid. After recently facing the Denver Nuggets in a 131-126 shootout and handling the Phoenix Suns 107-96, the Lakers still have challenging matchups ahead against the Milwaukee Bucks and Chicago Bulls. This is precisely the kind of grinding schedule that Johnson and Jordan played through without complaint. Johnson's critique goes beyond player availability. He sees a deeper shift in the competitive fire that defined his era. The decline of the slam dunk contest, once a stage for legends like Jordan, Wilkins, and Kobe, reflects this change, as today's stars routinely opt out, depriving fans of iconic moments. This latest commentary from Johnson comes at a time when the NBA is grappling with significant questions about its product. Television ratings have fluctuated, social media highlights have become increasingly important, and the league continues to search for the right balance between player health and game integrity. Johnson's voice adds significant weight to the conversation, given his status as both a legendary player and a successful businessman. Johnson's critique carries weight because it comes from a deep love for the game. Despite his frustrations, he remains invested in basketball's future, speaking not as a bitter former player, but as someone who wants to see the NBA regain the competitive edge of his era. The real question is whether today's stars will take his words to heart. Will they prioritize availability and competitive fire in shaping their legacies, or will trends like load management and fading rivalries continue? The answers will influence not just how this generation is remembered, but the direction of the league itself. What do you think about Magic Johnson's take on today's NBA stars? Is load management truly hurting the game, or is it a necessary evolution? Should today's superstars be participating in events like the Slam Dunk Contest? Has the All-Star Game lost its appeal? Share your thoughts in the comments section and subscribe to our channel for more updates.
That's a have a foul to give. Step for 3. Got it!
Plus.
Put him to sleep. Night-night. The closer. And then Steph, that's as emotional as you'll ever see him. He is hyped.
Stephen Curry just dropped a bombshell about his true feelings on the Jimmy Butler trade, and it's nothing like what Warriors fans expected. The NBA's greatest shooter admitted he was bitter and upset when the deal first went down, calling it a whirlwind that left him emotionally torn. Now, as the Warriors start to click with Butler in the lineup, Curry's shocking confession adds a whole new twist to one of the season's biggest trades. In a candid interview on 95.7 The Game, Curry didn't hold back when discussing his immediate reaction to the trade that brought the six-time All-Star forward to Golden State.
But walk us through where you were at when you got the news that Jimmy was coming to town, and your thoughts.
That was a whirlwind of a day. We were about to play Utah, and rumors, talks, conversations, what ifs, and then it happened. So first you're upset because you're losing guys that you went to war with, Wiggs especially, who helped us win a championship and saw him flourish for the 5 years he was here.
The trade, which sent Andrew Wiggins, Kyle Lowry, and other valuable pieces to the Miami Heat in exchange for Butler, initially struck Curry as a disruption to the team's chemistry. Wiggins, who had been instrumental in the Warriors' 2022 championship run, was particularly difficult for Curry to see depart. Wiggs especially, who helped us win a championship and saw him flourish for the 5 years he was here, Curry said, highlighting the personal connection that made the business decision so difficult to process.
Went to war with, Wiggs especially, who helped us win a championship and saw him flourish for the 5 years he was here. Dennis, Kyle, Lindy, seeing them guys go who were a big part of early in the year. And then you think about the future. Yeah, we're excited that Jimmy was here. We were, again, understanding of who he was as a superstar, and the idea that he plays basketball a very similar way, trying to, as he would say, make the right play.
What makes this revelation particularly shocking is how it contrasts with Butler's enthusiastic reaction to joining the Warriors. Upon arriving in the Bay Area, Butler didn't hide his excitement about teaming up with the two-time MVP. "I get to play with Steph Curry, who I'm a fan of, just like 99.9% of the world," Butler had declared. The stark difference between Butler's enthusiasm and Curry's initial disappointment creates a compelling narrative about the complex human emotions behind major NBA trades. Let's see what Butler said before.
They say opposites attract in a lot of ways in life, and I don't think I could be a better complement to him and vice versa. They're not leaving him ever, so there's so much space for everybody else. I get the easy job. I'm playing one-on-one, or I'm playing in so much space. And then everybody's looking for him, and everybody's looking to get him open.
I think the idea that he's like the exact opposite player of me, which is kind of funny. Like, I'm shooting 16 threes, he shot one, got to the free throw line a lot. He's dominating the paint, I'm dominating the outside and the perimeter. Guys working around us has a potential to be really, really fun.
Curry wasn't alone in his distress. Fellow Warriors player Buddy Hield made an even more dramatic statement about the team's reaction to losing Wiggins. "It was emotional in that locker room. I was even more emotional because I wish it was me that got traded because Wiggs did so much for this franchise," Hield confessed, underscoring the depth of the team's initial resistance to the trade. The Butler deal came after months of increasingly public tension between the forward and Miami Heat president Pat Riley. What began as disagreements over Butler's contract value escalated dramatically after Butler missed the Heat's first-round playoff loss to Boston last season. Butler's claim that Miami would have won had he played prompted Riley's sharp retort, "If you're not on the court playing, you should keep your mouth shut." The deteriorating relationship reached its breaking point following what sources described as an emotional 2-hour meeting between Butler and Riley. Butler characterized the Heat president as unhinged and disturbing, claiming Riley gave him unsolicited and unwanted parenting advice and even told him he loved him through tears, allegations Riley firmly denies. This toxic environment ultimately facilitated Butler's move to Golden State, creating the very situation that initially upset Curry. What's perhaps most remarkable about this story is how dramatically Curry's perspective has shifted since those first difficult days. After working with Butler on the court, Curry now speaks highly of his new teammates' impact.
Seeing them guys go who were a big part of early in the year. And then you think about the future. Yeah, we're excited that Jimmy was here. We were, again, understanding of who he was as a superstar.
This transformation in Curry's attitude reflects the professional mindset that has made him one of basketball's greatest champions. Despite his initial emotional reaction, Curry quickly recognized Butler's value to the team and adapted accordingly. The results speak for themselves. Since Butler's arrival, Curry has been playing some of his most efficient basketball, averaging 29.5 points per game with an astonishing 71% true shooting percentage since the All-Star break. Other Warriors players have similarly reversed their initial skepticism.
Steph, that's as emotional as you'll ever see him. He is hype.
Little swaggy back pedal. Steph fouling Russell Westbrook, and he is not happy to say the least. Steph is highly ranked. Maybe you want to challenge this one?
Hield, who had expressed such strong emotion about Wiggins' departure, now praises Butler as the connector on both ends, who knows how to win and knows how to play. Moses Moody has been even more direct about Butler's positive impact. It's a lot easier playing with Jimmy Butler. One, he calls for so much attention, so a lot of times my guy is looking at him on defense a lot, and he's just always making the right play, always on the lookout, so it frees up a lot of open shots.
Why does it seem like so many players love playing for this organization? And if that's so important, why do you played in other teams? Why don't we see that more throughout the league?
You know, I just think that it starts from the head. With Steve. Steve just brings everybody together. And, you know, you got to have guys like great coaching staff around you, too. And I know I've been in a lot of situations where I've never seen a situation like this in my life. And
this dramatic shift in team sentiment, from initial upset to growing appreciation, highlights the complex dynamics involved when major roster changes occur mid-season. While the business side of basketball often requires tough decisions, the emotional bonds formed between teammates can make these transitions particularly challenging, even for seasoned veterans like Curry. For Warriors fans, Curry's honest admission about his initial reaction to the Butler trade provides rare insight into the human element of professional sports. Beyond the statistics and highlights, these major organizational decisions impact real people with genuine connections to their colleagues. Curry's ability to move past his initial disappointment and embrace Butler's contributions demonstrates the emotional intelligence that has made him not just a great player, but a great leader. As the Warriors continue their push toward playoff positioning, the Butler-Curry pairing has proven increasingly effective. Curry's newfound freedom from carrying the entire offensive burden has allowed him to play with exceptional efficiency, while Butler's defensive intensity and playmaking ability have added new dimensions to Golden State's attack. What began as a whirlwind that left Curry upset has transformed into a partnership that could potentially restore the Warriors to championship contention. The story of Curry's reaction to the Butler trade ultimately reveals something important about championship-caliber players. They can separate their personal emotions from professional necessities when the team's success is at stake. While Curry's initial snap reaction was negative, his ability to quickly adapt and build chemistry with Butler shows why he remains one of the NBA's most respected leaders, both on and off the court.
Steph Curry! Big time shot! Makes space for the shot. By his lofty standards, wow. Taking ankles for the layup.
Defense, I gotta maintain the level of play.
Steph, another 4-point play?
In the arena of legends where records are made to be broken, one man just did the unthinkable. 4,000 three-pointers, a number once considered impossible, a milestone no player in NBA history has ever reached until now. Stephen Curry, the baby-faced assassin, the greatest shooter the game has ever known. On Thursday, March 13th, 2025, with the flick of his wrist, Curry didn't just extend a record, he shattered the boundaries of what we thought impossible in basketball.
In the lower part of his back on the right side, Curry thought about three, he'll put up a three. There it is! Number 4,000! A shot for the ages from a player for the ages. Truly the portrait of an artist.
The stage was set at San Francisco's Chase Center. Warriors versus Kings, an ordinary regular season game that was about to become extraordinary. Curry entered the night needing just 2 three-pointers to reach 4,000. The crowd knew it. His teammates knew it. Even the opposing Sacramento Kings knew they were potential footnotes in basketball history. With 5:35 left in the first quarter, the first domino fell. From the left wing, Curry caught, rose up, and connected. 3,999. One away from immortality. But then, the basketball gods decided to build the suspense. Defended tightly by Keegan Murray and DeMar DeRozan, Curry's next attempt rimmed out. Another 30-footer before halftime, kissed the front rim, and bounced away. The Chase Center held its collective breath. Would this be the night? Then, with 8:19 left in the third quarter, Moses Moody found Curry on the right wing. Under pressure, with defenders closing in, the moment basketball fans worldwide had been waiting for. The shot went up. Time seemed to slow. The ball rotated perfectly through the air and splash! 4,000 three-pointers, a threshold no player had ever crossed. The crowd erupted into a standing ovation. History wasn't just witnessed, it was experienced. Think about this. Before Stephen Curry revolutionized basketball, no player had ever made 3,000 three-pointers, let alone 4,000. Remember when Reggie Miller's 2,560th three seemed insurmountable? Kings coach Doug Christie sure does. It was 2,560 with Reggie Miller, and it was like, whoa, that's out of control, Christie remarked before Thursday's game. Then Ray Allen pushed the boundary to 2,973 before retiring in 2014. The bar had been raised, but nobody could have predicted what was coming. In December 2021, Curry surpassed Allen to become the all-time leader, but he was just getting started. While James Harden currently sits at 3,127 and Damian Lillard at 2,794, neither is anywhere close to Curry's stratospheric total. What makes this achievement even more remarkable is the man behind it. The day before his 37th birthday, Curry showed that age is just a number when you're changing the game. His journey began on October 30th, 2009, when he made his first career three-pointer against the Phoenix Suns. 16 seasons later, his impact on basketball is immeasurable. The boy who was once considered too small, whose shooting form was once criticized, has transformed how the game is played at every level. He's changed the game in so many different ways, reflected Christie. From seeing him as a little kid in Toronto shooting it from his hip to standing behind him on the sideline, and he's shooting it in your eye. Portland coach Chauncey Billups, who played with a young 21-year-old Curry on Team USA, witnessed the evolution firsthand.